Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to add rate limiting to your Node.js API application. Right, so right here I have a simple basic application here I've written in Node.js, as you can see, and also I have a boot file, a boot force file in Python that I've actually written here in Python. And what I'm going to do here is that if you take a good look at my Node.js application, I have added, rate limiting to it, and I also gave it some commenting so that you can actually do what understand. So right here, what I'm going to do right here is that I am now going to run this my Python file. I'll say python brute.py like this, and I'm going to hit enter. So what's going to happen here is that if you see, it's going to try and log in, but now I'm getting invalid username and password, and just because of I could not submit the real username and password, right? Then after that attempt, the rate limiting is just going to do what? Kick off, right? So if you take a good look at it right now, I wrote a rate limiting here, as you can see. This is just 1 minute, and the max time, the within 1 minute, a user can send just 5 words requests. I mean, I can actually increase it to more bigger requests, but I think it's far more better to leave it this way to have your API protected from what? From attackers, right? So it's very always important to add rate limiting to your Node.js application. It's very extremely important. So right here, as you can see, and I'm also getting the IP address. So wherever the person is actually logging, trying to log in through your API, and the person has went beyond this five requests per minute, right? It's going to do what? Log the person's API, and I can actually take this into another level by storing the API into the database. If you want this kind of video whereby I can actually show you how to store API into the database. All right, so for now, I'm going to clear all of these things here, and I'm going to write this Node.js application from the scratch, right? So the first thing I want you to do right there is that please make sure you have VS Code installed on your system, and make sure you have Python installed on your system also, because we're going to be using Python for this. And this code right here, I'm going to put it into a document for you guys. All right, so before I start building it here, the reason why I want to use rate limiting is because of to prevent abuse by logged in users, right? So reason, like, we don't want anybody to just be accessing our route anyhow. That's why we're adding rate limiting to it. So you can see why I put rate limiting on a route like login, right? So because of repeated logins using common passwords and rest, or data stuffing from leaked data base. So it's very always important to add rate limiting to your API. Either you're using Node.js, or you're using Laravel, or you're using Java, or you're using Python. Always add rate limiting to your API. It's very important. All right, so let's give it a start right now. So before you actually start, you're going to create a folder. As you can see, my name of my folder here is rate limiting, and make sure you have these things installed. So you start with this first one here. Start with the first one. After that, you start with the second one, like this. Then after you start the second one, you start with the third one. Then you are good to go. All right, so let's give this thing a try now. So let's start. I'm going to come and say const express, express is actually equals to require express, say rate limit is actually equals to require, which is express rate limit. I'll say const, then I'll say app is equals to express app here. And I'll say const, I have this body parser. I'll say body parser is actually equals to require. We have body parser. Then I'm just going to say app.use. Just like this is the middle way I'm actually doing here. So say body parser.json. So this is basically parse JSON body. All right, so these are the things that I actually need to kickstart my my Node.js application, my Node.js API application. So the first thing is that I'm going to do what do a basic rate limiting that shows the IP address of the user, but not storing it. So I'm not actually storing the API, the IP address of the user at all. I'm not doing that one. I can create another video for that. So I'm going to say const. I'll create a variable called limiter equals to rate limit. So this rate limit here has some variables or properties. So yeah, I'm just going to say we have Windows here, Windows M's. So this is the times. I'll say 1 times, I'll say 60 times 1000. So basically this one is just 1 minute, right? Then after that, I'm going to give it a max of 5. Then I'm just going to do a very simple. So I'm going to take the to identify the client IP address. I'll say key generator. I'll say key generator. All right. So then I'll say request. Then it's giving me back the request of the IP address, IP. So I'm getting the user's IP. Then I'm going to have an handler here. This handler is going to have the request, the response, and it's going to have the next. So this is just basically like a custom response, right? So let's do a simple console log that says rate. I'll say limit exceeded for IP. That's the user's IP now. I can just use template literals instead. So let me just change this to template literals like that. So all right, so I'll say request dot the IP address like that. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, so basically after that one, I'm going to send back a response back. So this is going to be a response that has a status of 429, then a JSON message. It says status 429. There's an error. I'm going to say an error of so many requests from this system. Too many requests from your device. And I'll add the IP address. IP request .ip. All right. So basically, right now, what I've just done right now is that I've just created a very basic rate limiting, right? So it's going to be displaying the user's IP address here, but I'm not saving it at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saving it. So the next thing to do right now is that I will now need to basically create two kind of like endpoints, right? So I can just come and say app.get. In this app.get, I can say something like this. There's an home page. I can also say API. Then here I have my Then here I have my requests, I have my response. Then I can also do is it's very simple response dot JSON, just do a simple message, say hello to my API like this. So I can actually test this API here. All right, so I'm going to have another API that says login. So I'm going to say this a post API. I'll say API slash login. So I want to protect this route. So I'll say request and a response like this. All right, so to actually protect, so let me just say a this.json message. I'll say this is the login route. All right, so this login route, I actually want to do what? Protect this route by all means, because what if the attacker actually gain access to people's credentials on the system and they want to start logging the person in? So what I want to do right now is that since I've done this right here, I'm just going to copy this stuff I have right here, this variable name I have right here. I'm going to do what? Place it in between here like this. So let's say the attacker now has a Python file like this, a Python file, just to be clear, a Python file like this. As you can see, this Python file, it has the URL slash API login, then it has series of passwords, then it has the email. Then basically you can see the attacker is trying to brute force into it. So I can actually increase this, but I don't want to increase it. All right. So right now, if I should just come and say Python space brute force.py and I hit a very big enter here, let's see what happens. So if I hit this enter here, basically I'll be having. All right, so the reason why I'm having this error is because of I've not started doing my very simple words validation. So what I'll be doing right now is that let me just add a very easy validation to it. So I'll just say email. Let me just say something like email. It has a password. It's actually equals to the incoming request body. Like that. So I'll just say const. I'll say valid user is equals to an object. So this is basically like my database though. So I say email is admin@gmail.com. And we have password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like that. So basically, if I've done this right now, I just want to just do a very simple validation here. So I'll do an if statement here. Basically, I mean, if you are building a standard API application, right, you don't need doing all of these things I'm doing. I mean, you have a controller for it. The only thing you need to do is just to add this limiter to it. That is all. But I'm just making an example of, I'm not building a real API, a real login endpoint. This is just like a default endpoint. So if you are building a very real login endpoint, you just need to add this stuff here to it. That is all you need to add to your API route. But let's proceed though. So I'll say, and this is going to be email, and here is going to be my password like this. All right. So I'm going to do a very simple return. So I'll say return res dot status, and this status is going to have status 400. Then I'm going to have a JSON report here, and this my JSON report here is going to have something called error. And I'll say email and password is needed. All right, very good. Then if I've done this, I'll just do another if statement again to to basically check if it's actually correct. So I'll just say email is actually triple equals to the validated user dot email, and I'll just do a very simple and here. If this password is basically if it is equals to the validated this user dot password like this. So I'll just change this 400 to 200 as successful. Then I'll change this to message, and I'll say login is successful. Login is successful. Then I'll do an else report here. And this else report here basically is just going to have a status of 401. So I'll change this one to 401 and I'll say invalid username or password. So I'll say please submit your email or password. One needs to be correct. Just leave it like that. This is just a basic example though. So format my documents here. All right, it's good. All right, so basically if I've done this, I need to run the server. I'll just say app.listing and I'll just listing on the ports called 8000, you know. Do this one here. Like this, I'll just do a very simple console log. Let's log in. Port is running on 8000. All right, so perfect. This is perfect. So all right, so this is actually good right now. So basically, as you can see, I already written a very simple basic endpoint here for API login, and you can see I'm expecting the email and the password. So on the attacker's end, here, and just declare the hacker has written a brute force script using Python. You can see the hacker has the endpoint. The hacker has some of this email, some of this password. You can see he also has the email. Let me just put this email here, and I also put the real password here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So what the hacker is going to do right now is that the hacker is not going to run this script. The hacker can run this from his own machine. Then if he runs this script, take a look at what's going to happen here. Why is not my stuff not running? What's going on? Hope everything here is correct. Everything here is correct. Everything here is good. Am I doing anything wrong, guys? If you can spot it out for me. Let me off my server and actually run it again from scratch. Yeah. All right, good. So let's run this again. All right, so everything is actually okay, but I feel like I might have an error somewhere. I have my required express is up here. I have my rate limiting is up here. I have my express app done. I have my body parser. And oh, I forgot to add my JSON stuff here. That was why. Yeah, that was why. Sorry about that, guys. So I'll run this hacking stuff again. Let's see what happens. All right, good. So take a look at this. It runs for within 1 minute. It's going to send 5 requests. So after that 1 minute as elapsed, you can see it will be telling you that error, there is too many requests from your device, and it's actually grabbing the device IP address, and it's submitting it, and the backend tool will be seeing the IP address. So if you actually drop this API on production, you'll be getting everybody's. If you're looking at the logs, you'll be getting everybody's IP address that are trying to log in to your application more than max of within 1 minute window, and within that 1 minute window they're sending like 5 requests per minute, right? So if it actually exceeds these 5 requests, then they'll be getting their IP address. So this is all right. And also you can also have other endpoints that you feel like you want to protect. Let's say you want to protect your API.post, and I'll say /API/dashboard. and I'll say limiter. Then you can have your request and you can have your response, you can have your next or whatever like this. So you can also add your limiter to this, right? If you want to make it more okay, you can also add that one to it. So that's like a personal choice, but always add rate limiting to your routes. It's actually very important to add rate limiting to your what to your normal routes. So let's say I also that there are other kinds of rate limiting though, right? We have the just a simple rate limiting. Let's say I want to add rate limiting to this route here. I can't add this limiter to this route. No, I can't. I have to make another kind of rate limiting. So I'll just say const. I'll say public limiting, if that's a very correct name to say. So like this, and I will just grab this stuff I have here. I'll place it down here, and what I'll do next is I'll just come and say very simple message like this. So let's start this. Status is 4429. And I'll see it has an error message. So I'll just copy this error message from here and I'll paste it here. So if I want to use this kind of stuff here, I'll just come and use it here. And the reason why I'm using it here is because of I am not doing anything that's strong, because these codes are actually different codes. The first code here is to check for the person's IP address, right? To check for the person's IP address. And we're actually doing an handler here too. But basically, this code here, we're not doing any kind of handler. This is basically just for maybe you don't want people to be accessing a particular route all the time, right? You can actually add this kind of logic to that route. If you get what I'm saying. All right. So for the Python code here, I will drop it in this Google form here, so you can actually copy and paste on your machine and give it a try. And please, if you like this video, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. It keeps me going and everything. Then I'll see you guys in another video. If you want me to create a video about Node.js, Laravel, or any kind of hacking stuff, please drop it in the comment section below and I'll create those kind of videos. And I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.